Welcome back, guys. I'm Scott with Hubble 410 Racing, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the tubeless system from Nuetech. I told you guys I was going to do a review on these, and although this won't be as comprehensive as some of the other reviews may be, I just wanted to give you some of my thoughts on the system. So I decided to put the system in right off the get-go when I got the bike, with the exception of I was going to wait until I burned off the tires that came on the bike. I didn't want to have to pull the tires off if I didn't need to. It seems silly to change out the tires just to put the tubeless system in there when the tubes that were in the tire were completely fine. However, on the first ride out of the gate, I hit a rock or something pretty hard with the rear wheel and gave myself a pinch flat. So at that time, I just decided, well, if I'm pulling the tire off, I might as well throw the tubeless system in there anyways. So I've done that, and I've got a couple rides on this system so far. I took a little bit of tweaking to get the tires set, because the tires I threw on there, as you saw in my previous video, the Michelin Cross Competitions, they seem to be a really stiff sidewall tire. So even running a low PSI in that tire, I didn't feel like I was getting the traction that I should have been getting running only 5 PSI in the tire. On a good note with that, even though I was running 5 PSI in the tire, you'll see today that I went through some pretty gnarly, rocky, and rooty areas, and these tires held up awesome. I didn't have any problems with flat tires. Traction was great. Some of the hills that were really loose with rocks and other debris, I was able to climb right up the hill without a problem. So I have to say, so far I'm really liking the system. As they say in the instructions, you need to check your pressure in the tube and the inner chamber before every ride, which I do, and I notice about every week you lose about 10 PSI out of the inner tube. So you definitely need to make sure you're pumping that back up. Another note, as far as the install of the tubeless system went, I tried using the stock tires that came on the bike. However, when the tire is installed at the factory, they obviously use a bead lock, and the bead lock cuts a couple grooves into the inside sidewall on the tire, and these grooves are actually in the same place that the tubeless system needs to seal with the inner sidewall of the tire. So if you're thinking about throwing a tubeless system in a brand new bike, or in a bike that you've already run a tube tire on, you're gonna have to either fix those gouges on the inside of your sidewall or buy new tires. I opted to buy new tires just that way I could throw them right on there and get out riding. However, I did contact Jeff at Nuetech, had a conversation with him on the phone, and he told me that if you just use some regular old silicone that you can get from any hardware store, squirt some of that in the damaged area on the inner sidewall of the tire, around the bead of the tire, and just take an ice cube and use that ice cube to smooth out the silicone. That way you're not getting a globby mess of silicone all over your fingers. You let that dry and then mount your tire, and you shouldn't have a problem getting the tire to seal up and hold air. I haven't personally tried this yet because now that I have the new tires on there, I'm going to burn those off. Once I get those burned off, I'm going to throw the stock tires that came on the bike back on there after I do some repair work to the inner sidewall. But I'm confident that we should have no problem getting those sealed. As far as the system itself went, you really got to pay attention to keep that inner tube in the drop center of the rim. I had a lot of trouble getting the front tire to drop down into that drop center with the tube in there and get the opposite side over the rim. Took me a long time to get it over there. Eventually I did get it on there. It took a lot of work, but just something to keep in mind. You got to keep that tube down in the drop center. So far as the installation tips go, that's pretty much it. Follow the directions to a T. If you do that, you're not going to have a problem getting the seal up. I followed the directions just like they said to do, and once I got the new tires, first try, I got them sealed right up. They held air wonderfully, and now I'm running only about 5 psi in my tires, and I'm really liking it. I'm getting a really good bite out of the tire. I'm not losing my front end. I don't feel my front end pushing out to the side like it used to with the harder tire there, running more psi. I normally ran about 12 psi in my front tire to make sure I had plenty of cushion to prevent the pinch flats. And then the same thing in the rear. I would normally run about 10, 11 psi in the rear tire, and again, I got okay traction with those, but I got a lot better traction once I lowered the psi and found the rear end of the bike was not sliding out to the outside of the corners as much as it used to. It would bite and hold its line through the corners, which is a huge plus in taking the corners faster. So far, that's about all I've got on the tubeless system. Like I said, I really like it. Running the low PSI, and I'm not having any problems with flats. As you can see from the footage I'm showing you guys today, I went through some pretty gnarly areas, pretty rocky areas, and I didn't have any issues with it at all. I've also done some high-speed stuff, and it's really working well. Worked well in the sand, worked well in the hard pack. I don't know what more you can ask for, other than a good working system like this one. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it gave you a little bit of insight into the tubeless system. The next video I got coming out is going to be on a product called Steg Pegs, and it's a pretty interesting product. You guys should definitely tune in for that review and introduction of the product. And stay safe out there, guys. Until the next time, give me a like, subscribe, and we'll see you out there on the trails.